It started with a sound that should not exist on any frequency known to man, a broken whisper crawling through static inside an old police radio in a forgotten sheriff's office deep in Blackwood County, West Virginia, a place that feels erased rather than abandoned, like it was never meant to be remembered. And on a storm-soaked night in October 1998, Deputy Aaron Hale sat alone as the power died across the county, rain slamming the roof, wind forcing its way through cracked walls, until suddenly the dead radio came alive with a jagged burst of noise, followed by a voice barely holding its shape, whispering, "Don't let it see you." And Aaron froze, every instinct telling him something was deeply wrong, because the system wasn't even powered, yet the voice continued, stuttering, distorted, like it was learning how to speak in real time. It learns. It listens, before collapsing into a long, unnatural tone that sounded almost human, but not quite, something pretending, something studying. And when Aaron grabbed the receiver and demanded identification, the only response was breathing, slow and calculated, as if something was mimicking the idea of being alive rather than actually breathing. And Blackwood County had always been wrong in ways no official report could explain. People vanishing mid-sentence, homes found untouched but empty, meals still warm on tables, and locals whispered about the forest across the road, calling it the listening forest, because whatever lived inside it didn't hunt in the traditional sense. It observed, it absorbed, it adapted. And as lightning split the sky, Aaron stepped outside, despite every protocol screaming against it, rain hitting him like cold needles as he stared into the tree line, where for a single flash he saw a figure standing impossibly still, too tall, too narrow, its proportions subtly wrong in a way the human brain rejects before it understands. And when the thunder rolled and darkness returned, the figure was gone, until the next flash revealed it closer, without ever moving, without a step, without a sound, just nearer, as if distance itself meant nothing to it. And Aaron raised his weapon, voice shaking as he ordered it to identify itself. But silence answered, thick and suffocating, until the radio inside the station erupted again, louder this time, urgent, desperate, screaming a warning that froze his blood, because it was his own voice yelling, "Aaron, run!" And the realization hit him like a physical force, that whatever was out there wasn't just watching, it was recording, learning, copying. And the storm died instantly, as if someone had flipped a switch on reality. Rain gone, wind gone, leaving a vacuum of sound so absolute it pressed against his ears. And behind him, a whisper formed again, closer now, repeating the same warning with slight distortion, like a corrupted echo. And when he turned, there was nothing, but the ground began to change, wet footprints appearing one after another, moving toward him with no visible source, each step forming in real time, each impression sinking into the mud as if an invisible body carried weight through the world. And panic broke through his training as he fired into nothingness, shots cracking the silence. But the footprints simply stopped, and then, impossibly, the bullet holes appeared behind him instead of ahead, embedded in the station wall, as though the shots had never left his gun, as though cause and effect had been reversed or rewritten. And that was the moment the truth settled into his mind like ice. It wasn't chasing him. It wasn't even hunting. It was learning the rules of him, learning physics through him, perception through him, existence through him. And when the lights flickered back to life against all logic, he backed inside, each step heavier than the last, the door closing behind him slower than it should, as if resisted by something unseen. And the radio spoke again, clear now, perfectly stable, his own voice calling his name with exact precision, down to the smallest breath between syllables, saying, "I know how you speak now," followed by a pause that stretched too long. "I know how you think," and then softer, closer, "I know what scares you." And the lights died again, plunging everything into a dim red emergency glow, where in the far corner something stood that should not fit within the geometry of the room, its limbs extended just slightly too far, joints bending at wrong angles, its head tilted in a way that suggested curiosity without emotion, and its face slowly resolving as if rendering itself was his, not a mask, but a near-perfect reconstruction, missing only something essential, something alive. And when Aaron fired again, reality seemed to fracture, bullets striking everywhere except the target, as though the world itself refused to acknowledge the thing's position, and it stepped forward in broken increments, movements lagging like corrupted footage, repeating the phrase, "Don't let it see you," but slower each time, refining the sound, improving it, learning it. And in desperation, Aaron shut his eyes, reasoning that if it learned through observation, then denying its sight might stop it. Seconds dragging into eternity in absolute darkness, until finally silence returned. And when he opened his eyes, the room was empty, the red light flickering weakly, the radio dead again, and a hollow relief washed over him as he let out a shaky breath, whispering that he was losing his mind, a fragile laugh escaping him. But behind him, his own voice answered perfectly, calmly, saying, "You already did." And by morning, the storm had passed, the sheriff arriving to find the station intact, untouched, no signs of struggle, no blood, no damage, only absence. Aaron gone without a trace, as if removed from reality itself. And the only anomaly was the radio still powered despite the outage, humming quietly. And when the sheriff leaned closer, it whispered in Aaron's exact voice, "Don't let it see you." And in the days that followed, hikers began disappearing again, one, then two, then entire groups, always near the forest, always without evidence. And sometimes late at night on certain frequencies, you can still hear fragments of that transmission, Aaron calling for help, repeating warnings, his voice looping endlessly as if trapped in the moment of understanding. But layered beneath it, barely detectable, something else listens, something adapting, something becoming clearer with every voice it hears. And the most terrifying part is not that it is out there, but that it is getting better, closer to perfect, closer to real. And if it ever learns you completely, every thought, every fear, every hesitation, then there will be no difference left between you and it. And when that moment comes, no one will know which one is still human.